right, so welcome back to the Blk Blu podcast, episode 29. I'm your host, Kyle Morgan. Thank you for following us thus far. If you're not following us on all the platforms, make sure you subscribe, hit like, comment, help us out with all that. If you're not following us on Blue Bearing's Patreon, you're missing half the episodes. So go to Blue Bearing's Patreon to get all the access to every bonus episode we've done thus far. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Roca Performance Eyewear and Unit Solutions. But without further ado, we have our guest. I'm going to go ahead and do an intro of our guest here. AJ Buckley. He's an actor, writer, producer, and now podcaster. You may notice him or know him from the hit TV series SEAL Team. It's an American military drama television series produced by CBS Studios, where AJ plays an elite SEAL, Sonny Quinn.
Sonny Quinn.
He's also the host of Real Fake SEAL, and we're honored to have you on our show.
I'm pumped to be here. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we made it work. We made it work. Yes, we're neighbors. South Carolina, North Carolina.
Yeah. A couple hours away, man, but might as well have been across the country, man. Trying to line this up. No, I just appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day and not causing too much of a ripple in your daily life.
This was very much looking forward to it, and I got a great wife that helps run the home schedule, and we're able to fill in the gaps, plug the hole, so to speak. Yeah. And I love doing the drive to North Carolina because you can get so much work done. But even as I was on a call and my ADD kicked in, and I was like having a call with someone, and I totally forgot that I should be listening and following the map. And I call him like, "Hey, I missed my exit by like 30
I was getting live updates, but these weren't so live. They were like, "Hey, I missed my exit."
It's like 30 minutes later. I passed the exit like 30 minutes, so I had to like turn around and went by the Walmart and. So.
No, but I knew exactly what you meant with the struggle was real.
Oh, it is.
Because like it's the same way. The thing that I say is because I don't really drive that much anymore for work. But when I fly though, I get a lot done.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, you're here, get off the plane. I'm like, oh, okay. Like
do you have
versus driving where you'll just miss every exit.
Like if I put like a podcast in, or if I put music or something in my headset to complete a task, I'll fly through it. If I don't have like noise or something, then I will full on start something, think of something, go over here. Like there's a trail of me where.
No, I'm the same way. I think it's just the way that our brains were wired, man, to need, like that's what a whole like fidget spinner's for.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, like if I play music, or just tap a pen or something, it's allowing. So if our brain can process, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but 600 words a minute. Yeah. Right. It can process that, but we can only comprehend 200 of those.
Yeah.
There's like 400 words that are just kind of filler and that are also distractors too. So when we give our brain something to focus on or something to do to help us focus on the core task, I think it's better. So listening to things like that or, you know, there's a balance too, because if it's like a really involved podcast, like I have to almost like set the scene just to absorb that versus just kind of background noise.
Yeah. There's when I was younger, they didn't really know what ADD or even dyslexia, because I'm both ADD and dyslexic. When I was a kid, and my mom didn't want to put me on any type of drugs, so it was suggested that I go into boxing.
Oh, really?
And our family friend was like, you know, originally from Dublin, Ireland, you know, boxing seems like the natural segue that a child should learn. So, but me going into boxing, what it did, or martial arts, when I was sparring or whatnot, I had to pay attention, otherwise I'd get punched in the face.
Yeah.
So like
the consequences are getting punched in the face.
So it was like I got my ass kicked for a very long time. But then I was like, oh, if I actually pay attention, I can weather the storm, so to speak. But I also found it too with like when we started doing the show SEAL Team, and we do a lot of training and stuff. I found with shooting, my ADD really like when I had to hyper focus on something, I became, you know, not that I'm claiming to be an amazing shot, but I really found I was like, oh, okay, I can. When we're running through a course, something like that, I really got like everything. There was no other thoughts in my head,
Yeah.
which is very rare. So I really thoroughly enjoyed and do now going out and shooting a lot.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that too, because I think boxing's a wonderful example to give of if you're not hyper focused on stripping it down to the core of like physiology and the way that people move and predicting movements and countering and all those things, like you're going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
Like that's the consequence.
Yeah.
With shooting, there's range shooting, but there's also like shooting with a sense of urgency as if your life depended on it, right? As you practice. And, I'm not saying that everybody has that. Not everyone has that same experience, in a life-threatening situation. But the people that share it, that teach it, like we do at Blue Bearing, it's a big part of, everything that we present to them and have people practice. It's as I'm demonstrating things and practicing them to demonstrate. Man, I am so focused.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else. Like I have to be where my feet are.
Yeah.
Like and from like a psychology perspective, like literally I know the next tasks. I know the percentages of what's going to help like my decision-making process. But I also have done this so much and practice it so much still that things can run in the background. So like subconsciously my hands and my movements are just reacting through touch, when something's not like it should. I'm able to make those corrections and allow my bandwidth to be freed up to the awareness, to the target area and things like that.
Was that right when you discovered shooting stuff, or was that just through the years of training and stuff?
No, I mean, I think that it's one of those things that unharnessed potential, like you described your childhood, like and boxing helping kind of harness you.
Yeah.
For me, it was football, but then that was only certain seasons and then or times of the year, and then outside of that, I was just very unharnessed, untapped potential. Yeah. And especially when I got kicked off the team because of my GPA started to go down, and then so what really helped me was the military. But it's not like it's something they teach you right away. It's something that's learned through your experiences and different through the Army and the different units I've been in, and they help make sense of it. They help you harness it. But it's something that is learned over time. But the Army is absolutely it was a way for me to focus that energy, because it's the most perishable skills I've ever learned. Yeah. Shooting, moving, communicating. Like if I don't practice these things, I notice it, I feel it. And I do it a lot, and I've done it a lot, and there's no like arrival, like I've made it, I can just rest on my laurels. Like I have to be able to continue to do these things, or else I'm not going to be able to teach them. And it's not to the scale at which I want to, and the quality of experience when I'm training with people, it takes every bit of my attention. Yeah. As it should with the student.
What's that one program? You can have like the laser on it. You can practice like pulling in and shooting. It's dry fire.
It's probably Manus.
That I used that once before when we were.
There's a few different variations.
But it's like you can practice, like you're going from your primary to your secondary and like pulling it up, and you can dry fire. That one, whatever that laser thing was, that was awesome, because it was like you didn't have to go to the range. You could just do it in your comforts of your home.
Well, that's one of the things that one of our sponsors of the podcast is Unit Solutions, and the rifle that you see sitting behind there, that's mine. But then they have the pistols coming out this month, and it's a unit. It's called the unit. That's the Unit 4 training rifle, but the Unit 9 compact. They have the ability to do just it's not dry fire. It's blank fire essentially, where you can not shoot a projectile but get the same reciprocation of the slide or the bolt. Yeah. So it enhances those other systems, and you can use a laser target system with it as well. So every time you fire that blank shot, it cycles the laser. So you can get some of the felt recoil and the weapons manipulation with your dry fire, and enhancing your dry fire basically. But the laser systems are great options as well, to get some feedback on the target and not just presentation to first shot, because it doesn't cycle the slide or reset the bolt. Because the cycles operation has to like fire the round, feeding, chambering, locking, firing, unlocking, extracting, ejecting, something else.
Yeah. My
18 Bravo, my train director will call me out on. I probably missed a couple on that one, but
we were only recently I had started using a red dot, and I was actually at a Green Beret Foundation shooting event, and I'd never used a red dot before
for pistol.
Yep. That screwed me so. Like I will say, and not to
welcome
say
that. Welcome to 2010.
Yeah, it was like
welcome to 2010, AJ.
it was like there was. I couldn't believe like what first time I looked through it. When I would go up, like because I was breathing heavy. Mm-hmm. The thing just was circling, and I was trying to figure out first where it was, and then I was like, do I put the red dot on like the iron sight?
Yeah.
Because when we were taught on the show, it was with iron sight, so there was no. And the first time I ever shot was at this competition. I'm not claiming that I would have gotten better than last place, but I feel like I would have hit at least one target, in the time allotted, because I was just, and the more tense I got, just trying to slow that.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because there are people like I really learned pistol shooting with iron sights. So the whole, equal height, equal light, right?
Yeah.
You want equal light left and right. That's making sure that you're not canting the gun.
Mm-hmm.
With the rear sight and the front sight, right? The rear aperture and the front sight. And then equal height is like the elevation thing. So it would look like this for our studio viewers, versus like this, or this, or this. So, but man, what a small aperture, right? Because it's just a U on the back of the rear sight, and then the front sight, kind of gets into there. So you have to stay front sight focused, which is the way that people teach iron sights, which I'm not faulting anyone. That's the way I was taught. But I was cross-eye dominant.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is I've done things since I was a small child. When I learned how to write was with my right hand.
Yeah.
But my left eye is a little more dominant than my right. And learning how to do this with iron sights, I had to close this eye in order to pick this up or bring my head over.
Which is then
which will always throw off syncing two things up in space versus just presenting under your firing sight eye. You're just moving the gun in space. So what I tell people though, is as I was learning that, for one, I trained my non-firing eye, which was my left eye in this case, just by putting some paper tape on it with glasses on to where it doesn't fatigue it. But now I trick my brain to, hey man, pick this up. Hey, pick this up. Hey, pick this up. And eventually I take this off. And then when you apply, the equal height, equal light of iron sights into red dot sights, think of framing the target in that optical window on the inside edges of the glass and the outside. You can start to trust once you get the full presentation, because you've only moved one thing in space and not your head, the dot will be there.
Yeah.
Right. And as you're learning this, it's something that if you're just patient with, it takes a couple weeks of practicing.
Yeah.
Because when I first transitioned from iron sights to red dot, like you see every little micro movement in the dot, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, because it's just going like this, and you're like, my hands are not. Look at my hands, dude, they're steady.
Yeah.
But it shows it just, for whatever reason, the way the brain, because you're so focused on the front sight from old way of shooting.
Yeah.
Now you're so focused on staring at the dot. What it teaches you though is over time, because you're target area focused, and then you're basically transposing that dot onto the target and confirming the level of sight picture you need based on how difficult the shot is.
Yeah.
So how much of a floating, versus a flash versus a floating versus a fixed. Those are like levels of confirmation, but you stay target area focused. And what ends up happening after a couple of weeks of practicing, the dot just settles down. Like you no longer see all these little,
I went out
crazy
shooting just not too long ago, and I've used the red dot a couple of times now, but it started to where I could get up and like I can find it.
Yeah.
Before I was either coming up and I was leaning too far down, and then when I would be like go again, then I'd be up too much, or then even when I pull the trigger, I was heavy on the finger and I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I was just all these little. It's like a shooting is it's harder than a golf swing. Yeah. It's like to actually be proficient in that. And you said there's totally true. Like you have to just practice.
Perfect practice makes permanent.
Yeah.
And that's where like, there's like little calluses on certain spots in my hands that tell me like because I've hit those same points.
Yeah.
So if I have a proper grip structure, right? Meaning I hit the same points every time.
Mm.
And then I have a consistent draw stroke to full presentation with proper structure.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that, under and through your firing sight eye, the sights will always be there.
Yeah.
It's just building that consistency in that draw stroke and not moving your head, not changing, how you present that thing. And if what I tell people that are struggling to find the dot when they've transitioned from irons to red, for one, it'll settle down.
Yeah. Stay
focused on the target. Let's maybe tweak a little bit of your grip structure because the presentation is just slightly different because you're trying to compensate for, this dot is on the back of the slide. Mm-hmm. You're not lining up a rear and a front. You're just transposing this dot onto that target. And a lot of guys end up, healing the gun too much. Yeah. And what I tell them is just dip the muzzle slightly down. Yeah. And it's typically there.
Yeah. It's just that little bit of tweaks here and there.
Because it has something to do with why the red dot's on the back of the slide. And then it's, the glass and the LED projection. And I also tell people that are shooting red dot, especially when they're getting used to this or just in general, is don't have a fiber optic front sight. So don't have, I would have if I'm going to have a co-witnessed, it's lower 1/3, co-witnessed rear and front sights. But, the fiber front. So now you're telling the brain, pick this bright LED up, but then there's also another dot. Yeah. And your brain's like, ugh. So you're just giving your brain more to try to process when the whole point of red dot shooting is both eyes open, keeping your head upright, staying target area awareness. Those are the benefits that you get from it. Yeah. So because our number one tool is our awareness, and we gain that through not hard focusing on any one thing other than what the target area is presenting. Yeah. So you struggling to find the right gift for your man? The Unit 9 Compact is an all-new game changer for civilians and professionals. It's a purpose-built training pistol that delivers the realism of live fire without the risk. Whether you're shooting targets, running force-on-force scenarios, or enhancing dry fire reps, the Unit 9 is 100% safe to use anywhere. That could be at home, in your vehicles, in school, or offices alike. Same feel, durability, realistic recoil with zero compromise on safety. Check them out at unitsolutions.com. Use our code Blk Blu, BLK and BLU for 10% off of your order.
Well, there's a lot of pressure for a fake SEAL to, when I go to these charity events, to be a good shooter.
To show up and blow up?
To show up because I had a lot of kills on SEAL team, but it's editing. A lot of editing, and all the guns we used on the show, they were all real guns, and we had amazing armor, and while the rounds were all blanks, but I've got burns on my arms from
blanks hurt too.
Yeah. And even on the 249, which is mainly what I shot, I remember this one day we'd been learning if we come up to the corner and we have to transition to shooting left or shooting right. So we were learning all these different things. So I was learning that on the M4, but during the day when we went to film, that morning I was learning to transition from my right side to my left side and fire. Mm-hmm. So we're doing a scene I have to get out of the car. So I have to get out of the back of the car, but I'm getting out on the left side. So in my brain, I'm like, I'm going to impress everybody. I'm going to
switch on the way.
I'm going to take the 249 and go put it on my left side, not realizing that
ejection port.
Man, I get out there, I fire this thing, rips open my thing. And I thought one of the stunt guys hit me with a round, and I didn't know what was happening. I was like, oh man! And I go again, bah, bah, bah. Then I look down and oh, you're an idiot. Yeah. And all the guys were laughing behind the camera, and I come around. I still have I got a bunch of, but that broke skin. I learned there that you cannot do that with a
gift that keeps on giving. One of those hot brass rounds just sizzling your skin.
Or it goes down the back of your.
Oh yeah,
we had many of those.
I call that the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, we all have.
You see that in pod shooting from helos, especially if you have two people on the same pod. Yeah, and the other person's ejection ports just blasting right behind their helmet and then just sizzling. Yeah, behind their kit.
During the pilot when we were filming it, we're out in Louisiana, and we're out in the water, and it was a big. We're in these little ribbed boats, and we're just contact left, contact right, and just we're each nutsack of the 249 just blowing through each every take.
If you don't know what a nutsack is, that's just a smaller contraption to hold a little bit less rounds. What, 100 rounds, 200?
Yeah, it was like 200 rounds.
rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a normal drum has 200, and then the big one,
Yeah.
and then nutsack's like 100.
And then you can have that backpack if you want.
Yeah.
But so we get out on the water, and you know Justin Melnick?
Yeah, I do.
So
yeah.
Justin, who did so much for us on the show, and really, if out of anybody that get our kits right, he
You would dial that in.
he is a savant when it comes to this, and he took.
I actually met him a long time ago, before the show.
Yeah.
When he was doing stuff with Cry.
Yeah.
Precision.
Yeah. So him, Caleb were really good buddies.
Yep.
But really like an amazing human being, and he actually had the dog on the show, Dita, and then Pepper, but he unfortunately he was in the boat with me, and he just happened to be in my ejection port site. I think I put every take put 3 or 4 rounds down his back. The poor guy was just I think it was his first day of filming too. I'm like, hey, you're in your stripes, buddy.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
Well, so you're our first fake seal we've had on the show.
I take great honor in that.
We've had a real seal on here, Chris Fedez. Thank you so much for. I call him Seal Cream 6. He's a former Dev Group guy, but that's awesome. But what I really love about him, he's a great human being. He's one of my closer friends. But his passion is ice cream, man, like craft ice cream, and he started a cafe up in Virginia Beach.
No way.
He's going this year. He's still running the cafe. It's called Be Free Craft Cafe. So if you're ever up in Virginia Beach, I'll connect you with him. You got to stop there. It's awesome. But he's doing he's scaling it to where like commercial packaged goods. So he's going to be in certain stores and stuff.
That's awesome.
This year. So he's been going through that. Really proud of him.
It's crazy how you go through life, and one day the light goes on. You're like, this is what I'm going to do. And you have many other careers prior to, but then you discover that your passion to make ice cream.
Well, he went to school for it. I don't even know how, but he talked about it on the episode. It was, what was it called? Where's your mic at, bud? Starship. Where's your mic?
Starship.
My mic's way over here.
We got a Starship, and he doesn't have his mic anywhere around him.
Let me look it up.
So there's a school you go for making
so
ice
he
cream?
learned how to make ice cream.
I want to go to that school.
Yeah.
I feel like it was in the Midwest, but I
started
can't
with a
remember.
P.
Do you know that there's a machine?
Penn State.
Was it Penn State?
Penn
Yeah,
State?
University's ice cream short course.
There you go.
Wow. That's
I'm
impressive.
sorry, Chris, if I got that wrong.
Have you seen the Ninja machine? So there's a Ninja maker
The
that makes
blender thing?
and it makes the ice cream.
The Ninja Creamy.
Oh man!
Man, how do you know these?
Oh,
things,
I'm tapped in.
Oh, dude, you gotta get tapped in, bro.
I'm not.
Because it's like you get
I'm
that
not tapped in.
you can put all your proteins and stuff in it. You can make your sugar-free ice cream or pudding or whatever it is if you're if you're super healthy or if you just want to go for it. But you literally make it. It's great for the kids because they get super excited about it. They can whip it all together and put it in 2 hours later. You come back, you got a big old cup of delicious ice cream that you made.
Well, there's some things with being an actor. Obviously, I don't know that world, but the stuff that we do with Blue Bearing, I know that's something that you've been interested in, and hopefully we'll get you to
I'm
course
excited.
coming
It's
up here in a couple of weeks. Yeah. It's our I say our flagship, but it's our vertical as a company is active shooter response training. So I'm leaving on Friday to go down to the biggest active shooter training, active shooter response training conference of the year at Alert in Texas. So
Texas, those are my
I'm
people.
speaking at that. So it's 1,100 officers that I'll be speaking in front of, public speaking. So
is that something you
be praying for me with that? No, it's good. It's something that I don't really get as nervous about a lot of things. I still get nervous about everything.
Yeah.
In a good, healthy way, but public speaking still very much so I love that challenge and just wanting to make sure to deliver a message through me, that God has for anyone that he puts me in front of, and also the things that maybe need to stay back and all of that. Because I can just if you watch Sean Ryan's show that I did, I just blood.
Yeah.
And it was it's something that still I love that challenge. Just like with anything, learning a new skill, and then honing it, right? Like the same with instructing with Blue Bearing, our protector mindset course. I really do hope that you get to come out for that, because, obviously we're going to get to spend these couple hours together, and but to see me in that element, to help me to see how I can have crafted this message of what it means to be a protector. And sure, there's the physical skills and how we deliver the curriculum is what sets us apart from others. But meeting people where they are, regardless of their walk of life, being a protector it's a contract that you sign. Some of us are just providers and we're not protectors, but yet we think we are as men.
Yeah.
So the physical side, which I'm sure you can understand, the shooting, moving, communicating, the self-defense, the protection of others, all those things, the solo skills in a close quarters battle, a battle for morality is what I call it. Sure. That's what the course is really, that's our mechanism.
Is it in a sense, like, does it, I always figure like in those heightened situations, that adrenaline dump that happens and being able to sort of keep your wits about you while that's happening. Because I feel like the times I've ever gotten in a scrap, not in a active shooter, but like there's that moment where it's going to happen and it's on, but it's like being able to like slow the matrix down and be like, hey, these are the thoughts that I need to.
So that's where I tell people, like, for one, it's a known.
Yeah.
You're going to be in fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
In the type of encounter you're talking about, but just something you can't control.
Yeah.
Right. Like the unknown, avoiding a car accident, like dealing with some very like significant news that you just got. Like there's this heightened state that we get into as human beings to survive. Right. And for some, they haven't necessarily full blown experienced, being shot at, which for a lot of people, but the parallels are the same. Right. So you're going to either do one of these three things really well: fight, flight, or freeze. So I use this bandwidth model of like, if 100% of my bandwidth is freed up every day normally, which is it's not even possible, but let's just use it for numbers. 80% of it's going to be tied up to do one of those three things. So now that 20% is the brain's using to do all the little things. That's where visual and auditory occlusion happen, and even tactile.
What's that? Auditory occlusion?
Like tunnel vision.
Oh, okay.
Auditory meaning like you can't hear the same. You can't hear as well. Some people get heightened levels of hearing.
Yeah.
Which could be good or bad, right? It just depends on, the known being. It's not that I tune, screams out, but I've learned through exposure to these environments that I have to safeguard my bandwidth in this space. And I'm like, even what I focus on, I'm not looking at people's eyes. I'm looking for hands. It's not like I already know I'm going to be in a limited kind of space. So I know how to maximize the space that I have.
What was amazing, the years that we were doing SEAL team, and then when some of the videos that we were shown, or just when guys were communicating to each other, under fire, and just how
concise
it was. So like, it was as if you guys were just shooting the like, hey, that to me, I was like, how I would be full, like, I know me, like
that's why, like, I'm glad you said that, because that's why when I say teaching, shooting, moving, and communicating, communication is a part of this, like nonverbal communication and verbal. So when I say things, I want to say them with brevity, with clarity, concisely, and things that I say in this environment can't be confused with anything else I would say.
Yeah.
So even the words that I use in this fight, flight, or freeze space, they have to be practiced, because if I don't practice them and I just think I'm going to be like having these elaborate conversations with people, it's going to come across like, you go up there. Like, I
totally understood
because of all the things. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where like my actions, even when the words get lost, my actions speak louder than anything I could ever say.
Yeah.
So when my actions and my words match, the level of tone that I use when I say certain things and my actions match it, man, that's how you become a force multiplier.
Yeah.
In the known being, you're going to be by yourself in most cases, solo response, different levels of skill and dress, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're a law enforcement officer or a private citizen, if you're in the right place at the right time, you know that others are coming. It's just when to help.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to deconflict and converge. So that's what our course really focuses on, the solo actions, but then layering in the convergence onto the scene with varied levels of skill and dress. And now we just are both hunting to stop the killer.
Does it happen where in that adrenaline dump, like your motor skills of like just loading, reloading, and just that of like your
everything, man, everything to the words you say, to the tactile response that you have to things, like it's all going to be impacted by being in this this heightened state. So that's where I tell people, you practice these things ad nauseum. Perfect practice makes permanent. So that way they run in the background.
Yeah.
So like it's like this computer where it's just running in the background. And when it does something it's not supposed to, whether it be the gun, a person, the environment, I just react.
Got it.
So like our motto at Blue Bearing is prepare for the known and react to the unknown. So preparing for the known is never getting complacent with the things that are good for me in my life as a man.
Yeah.
Not just with shooting, moving, and communicating. So I never get complacent with those. So they'll be there when I need them.
Yeah.
And then reacting is just a matter of when. I react to that unknown, and you can't train for every specific, the who, what, when, where, and why, because the enemy gets to control that.
Yeah.
So you try to rip away all the paralysis with what ifing everything. Well, what if this and what if that? Well, what if, man?
Yeah.
Let's just focus on what has happened.
And what
let's
you need to
focus
do.
on like what you can do.
Yeah.
And what you're in control of.
Yeah.
So learning how to safeguard your bandwidth in this space is so paramount, because of like all the little things become more difficult.
Yeah.
So if you haven't practiced thousands of times doing immediate action, whether it's rifle to pistol, or if you only have a rifle, it's emergency bolt lock reload or tap rack re-engage.
Yeah.
All those little things that people are like, oh, that's for beginners. No, man, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Being able to do those on the move in the chaos is the difference.
Yeah.
Between what I used to do and what everyone else
does feel pretty cool when you can get an actual reload and you finally get it up and you keep it in and bring it back out again without. I remember I'm still at the stage where if I'm moving and shooting, I'll like sometimes be like looking for the thing, but just trying to remember, keep my eyes up and get in. But when it does go, you're like, oh, it feels so good.
Well, part of that too is like, I'm getting ahead of myself too, because I want to train with you on the range, but part of that is I have to be able to do this, all the things, like if I'm getting this back up, I keep my gun up here to the target area, but I have to shift my focal point from that area to the base of magwell to get it back up, and then quickly shift right back on top of the sight.
All those little things
over top.
Yeah.
So that way, like if the movement happens, I'm able to track into it, but I've switched, that it's a vision thing too. And knowing when to make that shift without losing. That's why I don't do it down here, because if I do it down here, I have to look at base of magwell. I'm losing more of my peripheral vision, which is my number one tool.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how fast you are with any of this stuff. If you can't see it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I tell people, like, vision is where I start with the fundamentals of marksmanship. And I'm sure they taught you this on the SEAL team show. But
I think so.
I'm going to go down a whole tangent. I'm going on a tangent on training, but
That's right.
I do hope you get out to the course, and I think it'll be really impactful for you.
Yeah.
And everyone that God's blessing you with being able to interact with, being an actor, but also being a podcaster. So I do want to talk about a little bit of both of those. So with how I describe that mindset, like, it's got to be there when you need it. So as it applies to being a protector, right? So like being able to protect my own physical being, the ones that I care about, they're physical, but I think most importantly, to be able to provide that safety and security for myself. So like to protect my own mind, my body, my spirit. Now I can truly embody what it means to be a protector of my wife, my children, my community as an extension. Being an actor, especially as it pertains to more of the tactically focused, environments that you've been in with SEAL team, and even before that, CSI.
Yeah, CSI. CSI New York, I was the forensic pathologist.
Like a tech side,
I was the tech guy. I got outside. I actually got outside twice, And one was to meet this girl that I met online. She got murdered, and the other one I got run over or something by a car. They never let the nerd out of the lab. So every time I got out of the lab, it went down. But
so like in the preparation for those, like, do you see the mindset that I'm talking about carrying over into how you've prepared as an actor?
100%. I think SEAL Team was the biggest game changer for me prep wise. I sort of go back to the CSI New York days. Like prior to CSI New York, I was living out of my car. Been living in a car for like a year and a half, and very happy. You know, I was doing what I loved, and I got in that role. Completely changed my life. I met Gary.
What era was that?
This is 2008. So 2008, a little bit before, but got that signed. You know, like a 7-year contract with CBS, and that, you know, completely changed my life in so many different ways. And at the time, the CSI New York was the biggest franchise in the world. So I knew that I had some job security, which is very hard to get as an actor. But at the same time, I was recurring on a show called Supernatural, where I was playing a ghost facer. And so these two type of like nerdy guys.
A ghost facer?
A ghost facer, yeah. A ghost facer. The people that know, they'll know. It's a little cultic. The show Supernatural is a really big thing, but I was play this ghost hunter on the show. There's these nerdy. There's Ed Zedmore, and they kind of became these little fan favorites. But so after I got off SEAL Team,
are you a closet nerd, AJ?
Oh, dude, yeah. There I am. See, like there. That's us right there. The nerd up in the top left there. It's me, Travis. It's us right there. Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. Oh, pudgy with glasses. That's AJ Buckley right there. The inner nerd. I'm for sure a super nerd. When you really break down AJ.
Very cool.
Star Wars, Star Trek. Yeah, I'm into it. Aliens, paranormal. Count me in. But my favorite character growing up always has been John McClane, and I wanted to find that role. And so after SEAL Team ended, I really wanted to sort of physically change myself, and I was nonstop training, and actually ended up doing this mini series up in Canada, and I had to physically I had to show up out of shape, and then the course of the mini series, I get in shape. I'm this cop that's an alcoholic, and then I kick it and get in the best shape and take down this criminal. It was a series called Pure, and really fun character. And
like Pure or
Pure. Okay. It was about these what is the name of the guys that live off grid would make the wood, Amish.
Yep.
So it was this Amish community based on a true story that was smuggling crystal meth across the border through cheese wheels, and so no one ever suspected anything, and they don't use electronics at all. So it was one of the hardest cases to crack. I played one of the lead detectives, Bronco Novak, that helped take this group down, and I had to the director wanted me to show up out of shape, and then during the course of the miniseries, get in shape. So just as I'd come off that show, I was probably in the best shape ever in my career, and I'd gotten the appointment for SEAL Team. Went in. I knew the showrunner, Ben Cavall, who I'd worked with on Justified, and he said he wrote this character for me. Went in. The casting director was the same casting director from CSI New York. She didn't recognize me when I went in. I'd probably put on like 20 pounds or so of muscle, and I'd been about 4 years since I've seen anybody. And then it just sort of happened, and I smash cut to me in New Orleans doing the pilot. And actually, dude, the crazy thing is Jim Caviezel was originally cast as David Boreanaz's character, and tonally just wasn't the right person. And they replaced him a week into filming, which usually the pilot would be canceled at that point. I thought 100% the show was going to be over. And my buddy Max Terriot, who played Clay on the show, he was like, no, he's like, they're going to bring somebody else in. Sure enough.
You said tonally, like the tone?
He's like, he just wasn't like, you can be, that's the crazy thing about filming. You can be filming a movie. Like the perfect example is when they were doing Back to the Future,
Mhm.
originally they cast Eric Stoltz, the redheaded guy.
Mhm.
So he was cast. They filmed for 2-3 weeks, and the studio was like, he's not the guy. And then he was let go, and Michael J. Fox was
Oh
cast.
wow, I didn't know that.
So that can happen. That can happen you could be cast at a table reading, and all the execs are there, and they're like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So Jim Caviezel came on, and I actually knew Jim.
Even if they write the character for you,
Yeah.
kind of like they did. You were saying for
Ben
for
Cavall.
Sonny?
Yeah, Ben Cavall had written the character for me, and we just worked together on Justified.
It's still your role to like. live
Yeah,
with
yeah.
them?
You still had, yeah. He's like, he's like, I had you in mind when I wrote this character. So I was like, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So,
tough.
smash cut to we're filming in New Orleans, and Jim Caviezel was there. Then he's not. Then David Boreanaz shows up, and he's like just come off Bones.
Mhm.
So we were like, oh, this is even better. And that was the beginning of this adventure of SEAL Team. I had never really even shot a gun prior to SEAL Teams. I'd shot like some pistols and stuff, but my very first gun I shot was the 249. And I remember even doing, excuse me.
Welcome.
Wait,
Welcome.
yeah, I remember walking, learning CQB with the 249, and Matt Biz teaching us, like, as we're going around, like presenting with the 249. I was in decent shape, like good shape. I thought I was pretty strong, but going out with that, I'm being like, I'll be like, ugh. He's like, pull that thing up. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, shake it.
Who is that?
Matt Biz, Mark Owen. He wrote the book No Easy Day.
Oh, Bissonnette.
Yeah, Bissonnette. Yeah.
So he was a tactical advisor.
Well, the show was based on that book.
Oh.
So
okay. I didn't realize that.
so he was one of our executive producers, and but we've always said Mark Owen for years now, but
now
he's
he's out,
which is great.
Yeah.
And he was actually such a great guy to, like, when we went to New Orleans, we met him and heard his story, and because the show itself, I believe SEAL Team was set up at HBO first with Spielberg, and then it was stuck in development over there, and then Chris Chulak and Matt Biz brought it to Les Moonves at CBS. They signed off on it, and then the show got made. I mean, what people don't realize is how long it takes for anything to get made. There's such an incredible road that for something to see the light of day, and then for it to get traction, and then for it to be a success.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky, incredibly lucky that I've done 2 series. CSI ran for 9 years. SEAL Team ran for 7 seasons, 8 years of filming, but because of COVID, but 7 seasons. So I've been very fortunate in the shows that I've been a part of. But yeah, I remember trying to go into that prone position, learning how to do CQB with the 249, and just being like, it was like, they're like, dude, come on, if you're going to represent us. And I remember even when we were doing the camera test, and we had fake plates and a bunch of different fake equipment on us, and they were saying we're moving with too much ease. Like, it should not be.
It should be more cumbersome.
Yeah, and we were like, really?
That sticks out. I'm glad,
yeah.
it sticks
And
out
so
right away.
they put all that stuff on, and that took. But I would say by like the 4th or 5th episode in, we were like got used to it, because there's these little muscles that you just don't know.
It is.
But then shooting on the show, you form, because we're shooting blanks, and you're also shooting for TV, and even though our technique and our hand positioning would be right, we're still forming bad habits.
Yeah.
That doesn't translate into real world stuff. So going to the range and in between was like really helpful to learn, okay, actually this is what a real bullet is. This is what, as opposed to just being comfortable with blanks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the learning curve.
How much of a mix did y'all do of would there be, because that's a wonderful, I know from my perspective, what I would like to know about any show that's successful in the tactical space like that. Like, clearly how you look matters.
Oh,
How
yeah.
you carry yourself, like all the little things, like is all the kit right? People are going to tear those things apart.
So you had Justin Melnick, who was in charge of that, and Tyler Gray, who is started off as just one of our tech advisor, but he was in charge of a lot of us, of the cast, of really sort of being in charge of us looking like we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
And
like
that's
moving and
and moving
movements and
that's why he sort of ended up being on the show, because none of us could move. Like,
might as well have him on.
Yeah.
and have him kind of
Have
set
him
the precedent.
So, and they put him at the tip of the spear
Yeah.
to sort of be
That's
the guy.
what, I mean, that's teaching 101.
Yeah.
Like instead of me being on the catwalk, just barking at people,
Yeah.
I get down there and put hands on people.
Yeah.
And I'm like in the stack with them. And people just like, for one, it decreases the learning curve. Like as I'm training in any 2-3 day period.
And for me, I'm a visual person. If I can see somebody doing it, it's like, oh, okay, I see what it was. And what was really cool about our show, you know, at one point there was over 60% of our crew were veterans. All our stunt guys are former special operations guys. Our showrunners and Chris Chulak and Spencer and, you know, the people above the line, they really gave a lot of power to the vets as far as that if a director that came in to film, because you'd have guest directors that wouldn't per se know the whole history of like everybody that's there and who they are and what they represent. But if one of our tech advisors said we wouldn't move like that because, you know, I remember one director's like, do they really just like all move around? Like, I want them to like kind of hop out. He's like, that looks so much cooler. He's like, yeah, but they, you know, I remember Tyler being like, yeah, they would die though. Like you would, he's like, yeah, but it looks cool. He's like, yeah, but we're not doing that. Yeah. So they really allowed the vets to have the final say down there, outrank somebody, so to speak. That was like, we'd never move that way. And our show, 100% of the show is we never broke our POV. So you're always with us. You're never with the bad guys. So when we're going through rooms, clearing rooms, it's only with our POV. You never see the bad guys until we see the bad guys. Yeah. Which was a really cool, when you watch the show, people that have watched it or realize that it was a cool thing to see. Like we would be rolling, you know, we'd each have 4 or 5 cameras on us, sometimes on our guns, on our mohawks on us, you know, on our chest, you know, so the level of detail that we all had to be accountable for, because if we're not, if our positions are off in one camera, the shots are ruined. Yeah. So it forced us to really sort of stay focused on that. And, you know, we were, especially in the first couple of seasons where we were on location up at this place called Blue Cloud. And, we were basically deployed, for 15 episodes. None of us shaved, nothing. We had massive beards and didn't cut our hair for 10 months. It was quite the bonding experience, but we learned the learning curve that first season of movement. I saw these right here. On the first season, I had those 4 quads there, and man, talk about like not understanding like what's above me and the weight. And that it wasn't until the second season I started using a counterweight, but like going down and like shooting, trying to keep my head up. I was like, I was a little bit.
There's a balance in that too. I mean, it's also why I had my neck fused at 38 years old.
Yeah, I had my
part of the reason.
Yeah, I had to go get stem cell because I lost feeling during filming. I had my C4, C5, C8, L4, L5 all through the show. Just over the.
And you think it was attribution?
It was 100% because I fell during in season 3, I think it was, down a flight of stairs, screwed everything up. And then there was never enough time to, in one fall, I tore my L4, L5, my meniscus, my labrum, and we just sort of pushed through it. Yeah. Because also, too, there was like, you know, there's real guys there, and you're like not going to be about, you know, how my back hurts, you know, like, like shut up. So I'd push through it, but then we'd only have like a month and a half, 2 months off, and I'd go get it fixed, supposedly, and then I would...
Right back to it.
But then I ended up I went down to BioAccelerator in Colombia, in Medellin, and I got stem cell done, and that helped. I got all my feeling back. Changed my life.
That was actually one of the questions that I was going to ask you was the physical wear and tear of playing those roles, and it's very real, like based on everything you just said.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, it's like nothing you guys ever went.
Because you're not faking it. You guys aren't.
We're carrying
you're acting, but the way that y'all are doing it, or the way that you did it, and I think as a consumer, like the guys that know, and I think that's why and I haven't watched SEAL Team. I think the first episode I watched was this morning. I was just like, I need to watch an episode, and I'm going to ask you a question about that. But that's not because I'm like anti those types of shows. I've actually heard more from other people I respect that, man, they're doing a really good job with this show. You know,
that's a big credit
from
to
years ago. And full circle for you to be sitting here and then for you to share even the POV side of like because I think I'd imagine there's an element of not glorifying the bad people too.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Like, because that happens if we're sitting there playing the music and we're just like, they're just hunting us. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It was that, and that goes again. We had a lot of really great guys. We had like
That's all.
2 guys from Delta. We had
who's the other guy?
Dan Briggs.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah,
I love Dan. Dan nicknamed me Soup Sandwich.
That's a good nickname.
Yeah, he was like Soup because he was trying to teach me how to do a car extraction, and I was trying to get out of the van.
Last time I saw him,
Yeah,
was in 2015 in Africa.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He
was
so he ended up like coming, like I got really close to Dan. Dan ended up like come staying at my house in Manhattan Beach, and he was with us for the first season. And but Dan,
when was the first season of the
2017?
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah. And but Dan was great, man. But me learning how to do we were doing an interdiction, and I was trying to get out of the van and have had to present. And as I'm going, I throw my gun to the side, get the seatbelt cutter, and like go through the window, cut the seatbelt, and then pull the guy up. I just could not get
doing a vehicle extraction.
Yeah, vehicle extraction, right? And so we're doing in the episode, we're training for that. And so I'd open the van and then like I'd throw everything, but I just couldn't like get to my cutter, and it was just I just kept it up, and that's where Soup Sandwich is like soup sandwich. He's like, can you just get your shit together? I was like, man, I'm trying to like, and then I'm like, you show me. He go, boom, bam, cut. I'm like, okay, I'll shut the up. It's like,
well, that's the other thing is like those guys that you did get to work with from the unit or even dev group is we're not superhuman. Yeah, it's just we've learned either by being shown, or through the enemy and the battlefield, like. What to focus on. Yeah. Like what to focus on and then do it a lot. Yeah. And do it really well. And that's little things. Like I'm turning this way. All my things, Kit Shakeout, man. It's trademark KSO. But it's every little thing has a place, has a reason. So that way when it's not something is different, I just move on to my
when I learned with my
secondary, tertiary.
When I take it and I would, as I put it down, I would turn it so the strap would tighten and hold it there. I was like, that's what you're doing. So I was like, made that in there. There was just little things along the way, but my learning curve sometimes just took a little bit longer. But yeah, Soup Sandwich was
the term of endearment.
It was, and what I learned more than anything, which is because being originally from Dublin, Ireland, like if you're breaking somebody's balls,
that's the only time you hear the Irish accent come out.
Yeah,
was when you say
Ireland,
yeah,
Ireland,
Ireland or Ireland.
Or if I was having a few pints on me, even when I was like dating my wife, our second date, and I'd had a few pints and. My Irish accent just sort of come out, and she was like, "Is this some actor thing? Like, you're doing like an accent?" And the more that I said that, she was like, "Oh, I'm not into this." She's like, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I swear to you, I'm Irish." And so just
got put a gold.
Yeah, and magically delicious. I turned into a straight up leprechaun when I get this. But
did you master the Irish exit?
Yes. I tend to. I can fall asleep pretty much anywhere, to my own detriment. But it's like, especially when on the show, anytime they would know I would be falling asleep, I'd be having a conversation with you, and then I'd be kind of warm,
just getting it in,
and then all of a sudden you'd be like out, and of course that allowed them to do many things to me. Yeah. But what I loved about the
open season,
the guys was that in Ireland, like if someone's breaking your balls, that means.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
So what I learned with the team guys and the guys that like we really became a really tight knit crew. We went through a lot together, and the ball breaking that just it was non-stop. It was just there was trying to get through a take and not laugh. Yeah. But the guys was so fun. Like I made some amazing friends on that journey.
Yeah, I mean I'm glad you brought all that up because like. I don't know what it takes to prepare for that type of role, or just as an actor. I mean, it's.
I mean, that role was a dream role. That's a role that and I've said this before, but every single day that I drove onto set, and I swear this on my kids' lives, I would look up to the sky and be like, "Thank you, God, this is the best job." I'd see like a Black Hawk Black Hawk off in the distance, or I'd see a little bird that I knew I was going to be on all day.
Yeah.
Standing on the skids, playing guns, blowing things up, with my buddies. It was.
And I think there's got to be an element, because what it sounds like is because of the way that y'all did that, like from the conception through the execution of the show, like honoring other military units.
Yeah.
And
because they're there, and we had.
It's got to give you like a sense of pride.
Oh
too,
yeah,
there's
this one episode with we deal with a real story of a guy with an old teammate of Max's. It's one of my favorite storylines. This guy Swanee, and how he recorded his injuries on the battlefield don't coincide with how the VA has it.
Mhm.
So they're not allowing him get certain treatments because he didn't say that these things happen, but he knows that he's not right.
Yeah.
So he's not getting the treatment that he needs. So it really, the great thing about the show was it wasn't so much about like the battle like overseas. It was about a lot of the show dealt with what these guys have to deal with when they come home,
Mhm.
and the broken marriages, and just my character was addicted to cocaine and booze and women and all this sort of things. So, but to the VA stuff, I didn't realize till I did the show how broken that system is.
Yeah.
And even hearing from our team guys who are the best of the best, that it's like that for them.
Yeah.
So if it's like that for our most elite fighters, what is it like for the Marine that from some impoverished town that signed up for a better life? Like, what's he going through?
Yeah.
And it really opened up my eyes that, the military is so good at communicating on so many different levels, but when it comes to transitioning people out and people communicating in those departments,
Mm-hmm.
it really blew me away that the lack of help that's there, or just even the proper chain of command, the communication that goes into actually helping the men and women that come home.
Yeah, man, I'll definitely let's dive deeper into that on the bonus episode. But from my perspective, working at the most elite units in the military, like I have a skewed perspective of this in the sense that like my records were really well taken care of. But in the same breath, like I had to go and sit down and have these conversations with the providers, and they help extract information out of you and because it all boils down to attribution of when did you get hurt, and was it either training for combat or at combat? Okay, cool. Can we pin that to a start date in your records? And what ends up happening is guys like myself too, up to a certain point, I could care less what was in my records. Yeah. In fact, I would omit things that were actually going on just so I could not have to sit out. Yeah. Because we're taught institutionally to like, nah, man, I'm good. That was a Tuesday. Yeah. Like, oh, do you have trouble sleeping? No, not at all. Like just something as simple as like, if you answered honestly, it's going to, I mean, that even happened to me. Like I came back from one trip and I was like, I'm actually going to answer this post-deployment thing honestly. And I did. And they were like, well, yeah, we got you. We're going to get you help, but can you change your answers on this? Like it's mind blowing. But the problem is it's not just once they've transitioned out, it's everything that's happened up to when they transition. Yeah. And then if none of that's been taken care of, they transition out and they're like, well, you're from they don't
my
have anything
to get to the level you guys get to. You're told not to complain. You're told not to speak up.
And there's an element of perseverance and resiliency, and you have to have intestinal fortitude. You have to have these virtues and these values and all those things. But it's not almost like you need people leadership that knows that you're the right guy. Let's also make sure that we set you up for success as you transition out, because once you do, like, good luck. You have to find, and that's where organizations, I'm sure, like the Gary Sinise.
Yeah, Gary's been an
advocate.
He's been the best
for all of that.
I think, there's a bunch of Jerrys I work with, Gary Sinise Foundation, Hope for Warriors, Boot Campaign. There's something about all of them that I think I'll take from the Gary Sinise Foundation. And Gary's really sort of when I
pioneered.
Yeah,
He's pioneered it.
And he actually just surpassed raising more money for vets than Bob Hope. And I think it's like $196 million he's raised.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that every dollar, like I think it's like 99 cents or something, like 98 cents goes to the thing. And what I saw when I was doing CSI New York, Gary did all this stuff without cameras there.
Yeah.
He was flying to Germany with Lieutenant Dan Band, with paying it out of his own pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And this is who he is.
Yeah.
And he always says, like, even, whatever you can do, we always can do just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And his ability and his selflessness, he is so selfless of that foundation. And what's been great to see is all these other foundations learn from that. And I've had, the honor of going and speaking on behalf of the Gary Sinise Foundation, working with Hope for Warriors. No Fallen Heroes is another great one out in Florida that deal with the Ibogaine stuff. But there's just a lot of great companies out there that are needed. It's so, for the viewers at home, it's so important to find a charity and help them in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, do your due diligence and make sure that the money is going to the right place. But it is so, because one person getting a certain type of treatment or help, or the ability for their kids to get tutoring, or, again, what a lot of people don't think about, which was a big realization for me, was the families that are at home, that are, while the men are deployed, what they're going through, and how helpless they are.
Yeah, the sacrifice.
And the Gold Star Wives is really an amazing foundation. What they like, there's so many, and I can't state enough. If you have the opportunity to help out any foundation, whoever that is, do it. And every dollar counts. So if it's only $1 you can give $1, because it means, especially because this is gonna be a Christmas episode. Yeah, find somebody that you can donate to.
Yeah, and I just want to thank Gary Sinise for everything that he has done and is doing. Yeah. Because he's set a precedence. Yeah. About how to do it with integrity, with honor, selflessly, and as a result of that, there are some phenomenal nonprofits that have
flourished from that.
But then there's also a lot of others too that are just that are in it for the wrong reason. So do your due diligence on all of those, and that's a big reason why. So like with my own substance abuse, like I always wanted to find a way to give back, and I found that way, and it's through the nonprofit that I'm actually on the board of, unpaid. I have to read financial hardships that service members, and actually it's a broad net. So it's law enforcement, first responders, and military, active and veteran. But the only thing is they need to have a chemical dependency diagnosis, and it can be also post-traumatic stress, TBI, all the things that come with that. But that's because I know that for me, I needed to get sober. Nothing was going to happen unless I got sober. I've been sober for 4 years, and so I'm a part of Frontline Healing Foundation, and we exist to subsidize a financial hardship that a service member or first responder. They've already said, like, hey, I need help. They find an advocate that's trying to get the ducks in a row as far as VA claims or private insurance. If they reach any resistance along that path, they can submit a general hardship, financial hardship, through Frontline Healing, and we have to vote on it. And one of the hardest things I have to do is say no due to lack of funds, because, and to me, that's criminal. And if you have the ability to donate to legitimate nonprofits that are helping service members, our nation's law enforcement, first responders, man, please do it. Yeah. Like it means the world to them, and you don't even necessarily know it.
Yeah.
Or they don't even realize that your $20 a month donation, that's why we're doing this Hope campaign through the rest of this month. But it's $20 a month, but for the year, if we get 1,000 people to do this, that's $240,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's all we exist to pay for people to get the treatment that they so desperately need and deserve. And the last thing we want is the VA to be a sticking point, and then they can't get private funding or
Yeah.
whatever. So we can step
Because
in.
I believe the VA is necessary. It's like, but how do we help fix that broken part in the VA? Because there's good people with great intentions, but then when I found out, like, you don't get to see the same doctor twice.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's another doctor, so you're telling the same story, and it's just this, and
It's kind of deflating.
yeah. And when if someone's in a bad way of helplessness or in that dark space, and they got to go in and they got to tell their story again, and if they get dismissed by whatever reason, that's that one last straw.
Because that's the hardest thing to do, is to go in or to raise your hand that you need
ask
help.
for help. Yeah. And then when
I can say that with confidence because I was that person too.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also like, why it's called the Hope Campaign is because it's to give healing through being a light for someone else, and ultimately to get to hope.
Well, let me know how I could, off when we're done. Let me know, because I'll blast them.
Yeah. No, I definitely will. It's the Frontline Healing Hope Campaign. You get a sweet T-shirt if you commit to the year. It's actually right there. Can I grab it real quick? Since we're talking about it, not to hijack the nonprofit side of this, but I just love what you said, man. So this is
That's great.
Yeah. So this is the nonprofit. Let me get the mic in the way. So Frontline Healing Foundation is the nonprofit that I was speaking of. You can see the little blue bearing logo right there, just for this campaign. But it's to give hope, right? And if you look at the word, it spells hope in the letters, but it also says giving, healing, and light.
That's
so
great.
This is just a creative way. Eric actually came up with this idea to be able to do this and be a part of it, where you may not think like $20 a month, what difference is that going to make? A massive difference. Because like I said, man, the hardest thing I have to do is say, hey man, I've just read this hardship that you wrote. You poured your heart out. You definitely are the right person for us to be good stewards of the funds that we do have, and then have to say no because we don't have funds as a nonprofit.
It's a broken system, but I've become really passionate about it post SEAL team, with getting very involved with veteran foundations and using as much as my platform as I can to help out and to be there and to offer my time in any way, shape, or form to help bring awareness and raise money for who I can when I can.
Well, I think that's a wonderful way to wrap this up, man. I for one, thank you for what you've done, what you're doing, and in service to this country. Like that's how you're serving, right? I know that you weren't a military member or law enforcement or first responder, but you got to play them.
Yeah, but I play one on TV.
But if you've listened to this episode, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, he's got the blood, sweat, and tears of what it takes to even play one, to do it honor like y'all did with SEAL Team, and then the time away from home, which I want to dive in deeper on the bonus episode. There's so many questions I have about all of that, but the impact that had on you and your family, even, like, you're able to carry that. I imagine, without knowing Gary Sinise's like his full blown why, I think I'd imagine playing Lieutenant Dan.
That was
a massive part of that for him.
Yeah, he really had him on a podcast, and we really got into the why of that. And he, as I had the same questions the first time Gary invited me down to a hospital, I'm like, Gary, are they gonna know who I am? Like, are they going to care? He's like, AJ, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. He goes, it's about showing up and going into a room and talking with somebody. And for him, he discovered that when they went in the room and they recognized him from Lieutenant Dan, that they wanted to talk about that, and that brought light to their eyes. Like, they were like, oh, tell me about that. And that was his way.
Got chills, man. Yeah. It's such a powerful role that he played.
It was the best. It was so good. And that, for him, he's like, he realized that role was his way into this world. And then, my character, Sonny, not that it was at the level of Lieutenant Dan, but in the pools that I've operated in at playing this character, and as the show still continues to be number one and still have amazing ratings, and, it's the most successful military drama of all time, I realized, okay, well, whether or not they recognize me from the show. As Gary said, it's about boots on the ground and being active and participating and just showing up. But when people do, and I'm visiting them in the hospital, there's a great camaraderie that I have. It's some sort of commonality. And then when they find out I'm actually not a real Texan, and they get over that, we have a good chuckle. But no, man, it's just important. I feel incredibly blessed to have done that show. It was a life-changing event. It opened up
in a lot of ways. It sounds like
it opened up so many doors in my career, in the action space and the roles that I want to go play. But I just think on being passionate about and getting behind charities and how I choose to spend my time and exposing my kids to certain things and them seeing me go out and support foundations and how important it is in our family, what the flag means to our family. I'm an immigrant here. I got my American citizenship during the filming of a SEAL Team, which was really cool. I got to vote for the first time this year, or 2 or 3 years ago. Still feels like a year. But I became even more patriotic and I was always very patriotic because this country, coming from nothing, coming to this country, and it's given me this amazing life. This show in particular has given me amazing opportunity outside and
insight.
Yeah, insight. Yeah,
insight into
insight. Yeah,
insight into what it means to serve this country, how to honor portraying that.
Yeah,
and then what to do with that insight. And internally the introspection of like
and to
being
use my platform to get people to recognize how important it is to support these foundations and how broken the system is. And with the help of other civilians, putting the money in the right place, that money does go a long way. So that's something post SEAL Team that's become really important in my life, is to be really present and there for as many as I can.
Well, I'm gonna give you a gift, but I also want the viewers, because I actually want to know this too. I'll let you think about it while I'm grabbing this stuff. What is one episode that you think that everyone should watch, and why? From SEAL Team or from the CSI New York?
SEAL Team, yeah. Oh, should I answer it now, or
if you're ready? Go ahead.
I'm ready. It's an episode that is called Time to Shine, and it's about me being stuck in a submarine tube, and it's probably my favorite episode that I did. And I basically, if you're claustrophobic, you will hate this episode, but I'm basically stuck inside the submarine tube in the missile silo, and they cannot let me out even though it's filling up water, because we're in foreign territory waters and there's a sub that's going by, and if we make noise, we'll be discovered. So they, in a sense, have to say they've got to sacrifice me. But it was really cool. We had to do a contained episode. They built an actual missile, the actual set was insane. They built it to scale, like a sub,
like a torpedo,
and they built like a torpedo tube that I was in. I was in it for like 3 or 4 days in freezing water. It was awesome, and it was probably one of the best scripts I read. It's not just because my character was the main focus in it, but there's not a shot fired. And it just dealt with the brotherhood of having to say goodbye to somebody who's on the other side, and them all coming to terms that we can't save you. And even though we can hear and talk to you. Go watch that. So it's called Time to Shine. I believe it's in season 2, and I'm stuck in a torpedo tube. Yeah.
So it sounds like it was also a personal, like the perseverance thing of it too.
Yeah, it was just, and Chris Chulak directed, who was our main director. It just it was one of those, when you are doing a military show and you're so used to going out on a mission and firing and shooting, and then having that all stripped away and just telling a story of the brotherhood. Yeah. And it was one of my favorite written episodes and favorite episodes to act in.
So Time to Shine.
Time to Shine.
I'm definitely gonna check that out. So one of our sponsors, Roca, they do performance eyewear, but I'm going to give you a set of these. This is the SR1 EPs, so it's their shooting glasses. Dude, so they give you the same Z87 Plus like wraparound protection,
Dude.
that you're used to.
I'm stoked. I've seen these before, and I've always wanted a pair of these.
They have the ability to interchange the lenses and all the things you'd be accustomed to.
Oh,
they're
dude.
thinner. They're thinner through the temples. So if you pull them out, I'll show you.
I love these.
So like they're thinner through the arms.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you have over the ear protection,
Doesn't get sore.
Yeah, it doesn't get. Yeah, so you can wear them for all day and
Gonna wear them right now. Finish
Wear
up
'em
the
right
podcast.
looking good.
Yeah.
So
Shooter ready. Shooter ready.
Yep, stand by. And
Thank you, man.
don't even hesitate. I'm like, stand by. And then just a small gesture from Blue Bearing is I mentioned with you. Well, I may have not talked about this a little bit, but the with you stuff that we make, 50% of the profit from anything that's a part of that with you line will go this year goes to that nonprofit Frontline Healing Foundation, but next year we'll pick a different one.
Okay.
And same with this shirt. So that's the hat.
Thank you.
And this
This
is
is
the this is our Shoot House cross
Yeah, I
shirt.
love it.
Yeah, so it says with you right there in the corner. This has been a big hit as far as our base just loves this. And like I said, 50% of the profit from this line, it's a Shoot House, man, but it's subtly not so subtle.
Yeah,
as
I
far
love
as,
it.
We're never alone.
Thank you. I
got
appreciate
in
it.
this
Man,
medium for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank
We
you
also
very
just
much.
restocked those for the listeners.
Yep, just restocked them. So check them out at bluebearing.com. Also, man, what a wonderful conversation. I want to keep going, but we're going to do the bonus episode. So please check out the bonus episode with AJ. That'll be coming out next week at Blue Bearing's Patreon at the link above.
up there. It's really in the room.
It is. No, but what a wonderful conversation, man. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Me too.
And I know the viewers will too, man. So thank you for coming down and being on the Black and Blue podcast with us.
Oh, yeah.
But check out the bonus episode next week, and I just look forward to getting to know you more.
Hell yeah. It's awesome. Thank you, guys.
But until then, let's just all continue the podcast.
That's right.